Coming up on Colonial Sports Center, men's hockey, we take a look into their playoff run as they try to claim AHC glory in Rochester.
Moving to the hardwood, will this women's basketball team be able to repeat as champions? We'll have to find out as the tournament goes on. Very exciting stuff.
Coming up on Colonial Sports Center. Welcome to Colonial Sports Center. I'm Ian Kist. Once again, Rashad Christian.
Always here.
Nice little pink going on tail. I guess it's new, right?
Had to try something new.
I brought out the red, white, and blue because it is March, and that means winter sports playoffs here at RMU, Rashad.
Got to represent the home school. Now, NEC tournament time is upon us, and the men's basketball team started their postseason off with a matchup against LIU Brooklyn. Now, during the season, the Colonials went 1-1 against the Blackbirds with a win in Brooklyn. This game was in Brooklyn. So maybe
exciting action.
The Blackbirds took one from us at Robert Morris. We took one from them in Brooklyn. We're going to start off with a couple of quick threes by Maddie McConnell to open up the lead to 9-0. And you see the LIU Brooklyn Blackbirds start to just climb their way back into the game. Something we see all season from the Colonials, not able to hold on to any sort of lead, letting these teams get back in it when it is not beneficial to them. LIU Brooklyn finally able to take the lead. A nice slam, and then they're just furthering it until Maddie McConnell and the rest of the Colonials have something to say about it. Able to tie the game up after this nice Deshaun Burke layup. He's been stepping up lately, really proven to be a reliable freshman. Now, LIU Brooklyn late in the game. At the line, they make it. They're up by one. Less than 10 seconds left. What do? Give the ball to your senior guard and let him make a play. And this is what he does right here with a nice contested floater over the big man for the win. It was a fantastic game all throughout, but ultimately it was Kayvon Stewart's heroics that got them the win. Maddie McConnell recorded a career high with 20 points on 70% shooting. Isaiah still dropped the double-double with 19 points and 11 boards. The team as a whole shot better, much better from the free throw line, knocking down 73% of their attempts. Robert Morris will now face Mount St. Mary's in round 2 of the tournament on March 4th. If you're tired of hearing about men's basketball, well, I'm sorry, because I brought another person here to discuss it even more. Dante Pearson, pleasure to have you on the show once again.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. We just saw the highlights from that game. I want you to break it down for us. RMU, they lost to the Blackbirds by 11 earlier this season. What was really different this game that let them stay in it throughout?
Isaiah still did what he had to do, being a two-way type of player. I mean, he can score points, but he also can get rebounds, getting 19 points and 11 boards. Now, the shooting, that's a little bit off, 1 for 7 from 3. Yeah. But Maddie McConnell definitely picked up where he should have left off from last season. Maddie McConnell spraying down 4 for 4 3-pointers off in the first half. It's definitely big, getting 20 points.
Now, yes, Kayvon Stewart made the game-winning shot, but talk about his impact on the court before that shot happened.
Kayvon Stewart, he just brings energy. He just keeps his players just always in the game mentally, and that's what you need. You need a leader just like that, and that's just kind of always more your better defensive player, which Kayvon Stewart is. He always has that fire and that passion. He's not going to let this season go to waste. We're going
to take a look at the semis. Mount St. Mary's, Robert Morris. The Mountaineers took both games this season against the Colonials. Close games, by the way, but I want you to think about this. Maddie McConnell scoring his career at 20 in the last game. Really, a team we shouldn't have beaten. Do you think that he is the key to a championship?
A player like Maddie McConnell is definitely key to a championship team. You definitely need that one shooter that does play defense on the opposite end of the court, and Maddie McConnell is definitely that type of guy. Him and Lorenzen Wright Jr., they just need to stick to their role, play defense, shoot the three, nothing else.
I mean, Mount St. Mary's had that really close game against Sacred Heart in the first round. Really, it should have been a blowout. How does RMU turn this into an advantage for them? Such a close game.
Robert Morris just riding on momentum right now. I mean, the odds are against you right now. Yeah, survive and advance. And Robert Morris, I mean, you're the underdog, and you're going to other gyms and playing, just looking just to get a W, no matter if you win by 1 or if you win by 20.
Yeah, definitely, there's going to be a lot that has to go right if the Colonials want to make it past the Mount St. Mary's Mountaineers. With the right amount of perfect plays and smart decisions, there should be no reason why Robert Morris can't make this next contest a close one, if not win it all. But I've talked for a while, so I'm going to throw it over to Ian Kist over there with some women's basketball talk.
Thank you, Rashad. Not only was Monday's women's basketball game against Fairleigh Dickinson the last regular season game of the season, but it was the very last regular season game ever at the Charles L. Soul Center. Back to the hardwood. Megan Smith trying to find some room all the way over to Rebecca Navarro, to Michaela Mulrain, and she's money, and the Colonials are building an 11-2 lead. Nia Adams gets in on the action. No go. But then Nneka Exebo with the fight and the layup on a Nikki Stamma Lamprou is money as usual. Nothing surprising there. Nia Adams finds a wide open Navarro. And we're there toying with the defense, breaking some ankles as Stamma Lamprou at the buzzer. We'll take a second look at it here. The silky smooth move, the silky smooth shot, and buckets. And then too easy here for Smith and Stamma Lamprou. And Colonial slowing things down, finds Shakima Dashiel with the three-point shot. And the Colonials building a steady lead. FDU tries to fight their way back in shooting, but way too easy on a Nikki Stamma Lamprou. Sneaks her way in the corner, Navarro finds her, and then another look. The long passes here for the Colonials, but it's working on this Knights defense. And too easy, the inbound pass right back to Stamma Lamprou. Knights defense nowhere to be found, and that's all she wrote from the Chuck. Stamma Lamprou finished with 22 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists. Rebecca Navarro also in double-figure scoring with 11 points as the Colonials began with a steady lead and kept that going all game long. Now, joining me now is David Szymanski to talk some women's b-ball here. Now, David, how does the number 1 seed for this Colonials team affect their chances?
So number 1 seed does a few things for our team. First, it is going to put a matchup against St. Francis or Sacred Heart off until the championship game. So we should have an easy path to getting there. Also, it's going to give us one last chance to bring an NEC championship to the Chuck. I expect the crowds to be huge, considering each game could possibly be the last there. So I think that it not only delays a possible matchup, but it also gives us a tremendous advantage at being at the Chuck.
Now, as we look at the bracket here on the screen, can you tell me maybe will there be an underdog story in this one?
So typically when I think of an underdog beating a 1 seed, I think of the 1 seed not performing up to their potential. And with our team, we are a defensive team. So we don't live and die by the 3. We don't rely on offensive production. We control the tempo of the game. So I don't think that any team is going to be able to come out and beat us because of our defensive mindset. I do see a team like a Sacred Heart or a St. Francis that we could meet in the championship game have a chance against us, but no underdogs.
No underdogs, but you do bring up the red flash of St. Francis. We have a blowout at home and then a narrow 70-68 win in Loretto, Pennsylvania on their home court. Now, if we face them in the championship game, it will be at the Soul Center where we got blown out. How do the Colonials put that behind them and take care of business if they make their way to the championship game?
So with this team, I would say that every single time that we've met a team for the second time, we've won, except for in the one game against Bryant in which we lost in overtime. So Coach Buscalia has shown that he can prepare for rematches with teams, and I expect the same thing if we do meet St. Francis come championship. I know that they shoot the 3 at an extremely high rate, and we defend it at an extremely low rate, but I still think that we'll come in with a game plan being able to beat them. Now,
Jessica Kovach, we saw in those highlights, destroyed us from the perimeter. How does this Colonials defense defend her, the 1,000-point scorer?
Right, so they're going to try to spread out the floor, and they're going to move the ball around. They're going to pick and roll, and we've got to be quick. We have to be out there on the perimeter, and we've got to get a hand in their face. We can't play passively.
Now, if Anna Nikki, we all know she's probably going to be the MVP. Now, who else can be a candidate to be MVP in the tournament?
I would look at Megan Smith. She's an extremely efficient scorer. She kind of does everything really well, whether it's facilitating the ball, playing defense. She could definitely be a big player if we do end up winning the NEC tournament.
Now, what's your thoughts on Rebecca Navarro, real quick?
Yeah, I think that she is going to be able to provide a great perimeter shot maker come match up with St. Francis, because we're going to need to be able to shoot from the perimeter so we can match up with them.
Well, thank you, David. That's all the time we have. And when we come back, we will get into men's and women's hockey as we dive into their playoffs. All coming up on Colonial Sports Center.
They call me Maxie, but I prefer tripod. I was your above-average four-legged homie, and then wham-bam minivan. Some people pity me. Now that's lame. I still run, fetch, and swim. And the ladies love me. I'm the ultimate wingman. Just don't ask me to high five.
Every time I hear the alarm bell go off in school, I think it's an air raid.
A lot of houses in our neighborhood have been destroyed. I like to close my ears and sing songs whenever the bombs come close.
I'm worried our new neighbors won't like us.
But I know it's all gonna be worth it. I just want my family to be safe. But these are not my words.
These are not my words.
These are not my words.
Todd's a great guy. I mean, look at him. What a sweetheart. Attaboy. Wait, Todd, what are you doing? How totally selfish and un-Todd-like of you. Come on, Todd. Come on, man.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to yet another action-packed episode of Colonial Sports Center. I mean, it seems like we've had a lot of these recently, and I got to tell you, the work doesn't get old. But aside from my appreciation, the men's hockey team battled Niagara Sunday in their final regular season game. It was a home game for the Colonials, but it wasn't played at the 84 Lumber Arena. Rather, it was played at Heinz Field in the ever-anticipated outdoor game. Our very own Nick Milliron has the details.
16 years. 2 Super Bowl rings, 1 stadium. There's no denying that in the life of Heinz Field, the amount of history and tradition that has already been set is impeccable. And a new winter tenant has provided North Shore's premier stadium with more than just football. In 2011, the Pittsburgh Penguins utilized the venue to host the first ever night Winter Classic. And this year, Heinz Field expanded to outdoor college hockey for the first time with an Atlantic Hockey regular season finale between Robert Morris and Niagara.
They hurry, 2-on-1 cross-ice pass, shot, score! Robert Morris on the board. They take the 1-0 lead. Here, 7 minutes and 43 seconds to go. Brandon Watt finding the back of the net. 2-on-1 for Robert Morris the other way, and a shot and a goal. Rob Mann picks the corner top shelf, and it's 2-0 Robert Morris. They strike with 21 seconds to go here in the first.
The night got off to a hot start for the Colonials and an early 2-0 lead with goals from forward Brandon Watt and senior defenseman Rob Mann. Niagara would try to fight back, but Robert Morris was able to utilize the energy from their young talent that grew up here in Pittsburgh.
Luke Lynch on the board. The Shaler kid scores at Heinz Field.
Luke Lynch beat him to the biscuit, and the Colonials have their 2-goal lead back.
Good move by Tange to create some space. Here he comes walking in, shot and score. Alex Tange went roof. Mark one up for Alex Tange. Back a shot and a score on the faceoff immediately. His hometown kid, Jake Coleman, another Pittsburgh kid at Heinz Field, scores.
The Colonials will try to capitalize on their hot streak.
Good job, boys. Hey, good job.
Now moving on to the conference tournament, which has haunted them so badly in the past. For Colonial Sports Center, I'm Nick Milliron.
I have the man behind the package, Mr. Nick Milliron, with me here today to talk about some men's hockey. Thank you for coming on the show.
Always a pleasure.
Definitely a pleasure to have you. We're going to take a look at this tournament bracket here for the men's hockey team. And we're going to start from the top.
Yep.
Talk about RIT, that first matchup between RIT and Niagara.
Yeah. So RIT beat the crap out of Mercyhurst to finish off the regular season here, and I really just don't see Niagara getting the win here. They only got 3 wins all season long. Got to go with RIT here right off the bat.
All right, we're going to move through this quickly. Mercyhurst, AIC, go.
Yeah. Mercyhurst here, they're a very young team, but they do have a very talented squad. A player to look out for here is sophomore Derek Barach. He's done a great job of moving the puck around, and they work really well as a unit. I see Mercyhurst moving on.
All right, bold move. Bentley, Sacred Heart.
Yeah, so this is the really bottom of the barrel matchup here in this tournament. These are two pretty rough teams, to be honest with you. I really think Bentley's offense is a little bit better, so I'm going with Bentley here in this one.
All right, and we're going to take a look back at the top of the key, or back to the bottom, sorry.
Yes.
There we go. The picks are finally in Army.
Yes.
RIT.
So we're going Robert Moore, RIT here.
Yeah.
And RIT up at the top here. They've done a great job on their power play all season long here, and I see them yet again moving on here, and they're going to be a force to reckon with, I think, in this tournament. Moving on to Rochester.
All right, Mercyhurst Air Force.
Yeah. So this was a really close one here for me. Air Force has been great all season long in both offense and defense. But I'm really liking this young Mercyhurst team. I really think their goaltender's great, and I'm looking forward to them moving on here yet again.
We'll talk about that next to last matchup at the bottom there. Bentley, Canisius, the number 1 seed.
Yeah, so Canisius here, man, they have a phenomenal goalie here, and senior Carlos Williams. He's a really standout guy, and he might just be the best in all the NCAA right now. So I don't see any problem with them moving on here. Canisius gets the victory.
And finally, we make it down to the bottom.
The
anticipated matchup?
Yeah, I think so. I think this is a pretty close matchup, actually. A lot closer than people are going to suggest here. Robert Morris and Holy Cross. I think RMU brings out the big guns here right off the bat. They utilize their great stars, Tonge, Levins, and they really get the job done. I got some quick keys, if you don't mind, here to this game.
By all means.
I think Robert Morris, they got to come out. They got to score nice and early, and they got to. I think if they win on the first night, they'll get moving forward here on Saturday or Sunday and get the victory there. And they got to limit the penalty minutes. I think that's huge. Holy Cross has a great junior in Danny Lopez, and he's proven to be really haunting on the power play. So, got to limit the penalty minutes here for Robert Morris. But I think they make it out on top.
All right, some homeschool loving. Now we're going to take a look back at the top. RIT, Mercyhurst. What you got?
Yeah, so this is a tough one here. We're getting down to the nitty gritty here. We're finally in Rochester here on that March 17th, 18th weekend, and RIT at home. I think they find a way to get the job done. I don't see any way that this young Mercyhurst team has to come to an end at some point here. RIT moving on to the finals.
All right, possible upset alert here. Canisius, Robert Morris?
Maybe. Who knows?
Okay.
But I do have to say, Canisius, like I said, that great goalie there, Carlos Williams, right there on your screen. I don't know. This is literally a 50-50 toss-up for me, but I'm going to have to go with Robert Morris. I think if they could get 2 goals early on in this game, I think Francis Maroc can take care of business behind the net, and I think it's going to be the big matchup everybody's always looked forward to every year.
That championship
RIT
game.
versus Robert Morris, the 2 biggest rivals in possibly all of the AHC, coming down to a final game. And, RIT once again in their home crowd in Rochester, but Robert Morris lost RIT last year. I think they're coming out with a vengeance here. Robert Morris moving on to the NCAA tournament.
RIT definitely known for causing Robert Morris some problems. Thank you, Nick, again.
Yeah, no
coming
problem.
on the show.
Great to be here.
When we come back from the break, Ian Kist and Will Camilleri will sit down and talk about the women's hockey team and their tournament chances right after these commercials.
Looking for these? You drive Buzzed. It could be one very expensive ride.
First, you gotta make bail. Then pay me to get your car back.
Your insurance premiums will go through the roof.
And my legal fees just keep adding up. All told, it could end up costing you $10,000.
Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
To Maddie, congrats on paying off all those student loans.
Finally, right? How'd you manage that anyway?
I started tracking my spending, changed a couple of habits.
Wow. I'm kind of living paycheck to paycheck right now. I don't even know how I'm doing it.
Well, have you tried saving a little?
I want to, but where's that money going to come from? Bill collectors, they're the worst. Am I right?
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind.
Not home.
Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.org.
Welcome back to Colonial Sports Center. Next to me now is Will Camilleri as we get into women's hockey as they head to Buffalo, New York for the CHA tournament. First time on the show, Will. It's nice to have you.
Thanks for having me.
So now, kind of breaking news out of Buffalo this afternoon. Lindenwood got past Mercyhurst and it upset already in the first day there at the CHA tournament. So this kind of sets up for, again, it sets up for the Lions and the Colonials. Does that have any effect in their bracket? What was your initial reaction to the Lions winning? Can the Colonials get past Lindenwood?
It was a very surprising upset for me when I saw the score that they had beaten Mercyhurst. It took me by surprise. But I don't think Robert Morris will have any trouble with Lindenwood. Overall, Lindenwood has been shut out 14 times this year, once by Robert Morris. They have a 6-24-2 overall record, so they're not a very difficult team, I would say, for us, even though our top superstar line only has 6 combined goals against them this year.
Okay, so now let's talk about Jessica Dodds. As we've talked on the show in the past, her not so great postseason career. Now, what does she have to do right from the get-go against the Lions to advance the Colonials?
I would say she just has to trust herself and trust her defense. I mean, this year against Lindenwood, she has a .926 save percentage, 1.98 goals average against in 3 games, including her second shutout of the year this past Saturday. So, yeah, I would just, go back to the basics, trust what she's been doing all year.
Now, the Lions gave the Colonials some headache in the first game. I call it the teddy bear toss game back in January, when the Colonials couldn't. When they got the puck to the net, the goaltender shut them down. But the next day, the Colonials came out and it was like 5-2 win. Now, we talked about Dodds, but what do the scores and the defense have to do to keep? Let's talk about the defense though. What do they have to do to keep their team in the game when the offense? If the offense doesn't show up, Will?
I would say that they, again, have to trust, those hours and hours of practice that they've gone through, because obviously, they have the capabilities to beat these great teams. So I would just say, trust themselves and do what they do best.
So Brittany Howard only has 1 goal against Lindenwood this season. How does she have to step up her game? How will she step up her game against the Lions, where she kind of just goes in hiding?
I would use the pieces that are around her, because that excellent first line that she's with, throughout the season has proven time and time again that they're a force to reckon with. And so if she's not, producing, I would say try and get it to one of those other dynamic players.
And you bring up a good part because J.C. Gebhardt, these other parts you talk about, Gebhardt and Amber Rennie, Gebhardt has 3 goals. Rennie has 2 goals so far against Lindenwood. Now, out of Gebhardt and Rennie, who do you expect to step up this weekend?
I would like to see a big game out of J.C. Gebhardt personally. I feel as though she has a great potential, all-conference, second team, rookie team. So I just think she has a phenomenal place that she can go in the future.
So we talk about Lindenwood and a team that gave the Colonials headaches this season. Another team that handed the Colonials a loss was Syracuse in Syracuse, New York. Now, that's the team the Colonials, they get past lines, will have to face. So how do they beat Syracuse?
They would have to shut down Stephanie Grassi. She has 2 goals and 1 assist against RMU this year. Those 2 goals came in that 5-2 loss that we had. So I would say definitely, shut her down and essentially shut down the team.
Thank you, Will, for that great insight. As the Colonials head to Buffalo to take on Lindenwood this coming tomorrow, actually. When we come back on Colonial Sports Center, we will recap all the tournaments and all the games heading this weekend. Stay tuned.
So, I just moved in with this family, and it's embarrassing. The little one, he likes to go outside and crawl around in the giant litter box. I don't know what he's doing. I mean, I was born and I knew how to use the litter box. Look at that. That's disgusting. Oh, poop already. You're making me nervous. Oh, okay, I can't look at this anymore. I really hope he grows out of this, for his sake.
You know what, guys? There's a lot of tree branches and dry brush over here. We should probably move the bonfire over there.
I'm guessing Smokey liked that idea.
Well, Thomas, you've got pre-diabetes. But with more exercise and a change in diet, it can be reversed.
I've tried exercising. It just makes me hungry for bacon.
I love bacon, too. And who really likes to exercise?
Not me.
Me neither.
Nobody. So we're good?
What? Oh, you still have pre-diabetes. Big time.
Look at you. You're at the top of your game. You're unstoppable. Nothing can throw you off track. Wait, is that your car? Uh-oh. Yeah, I saw that coming. That will throw you off track. You're looking at around 10 grand in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Let's try this again. Smart move. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Welcome back to Colonial Sports Center. Rashad, I haven't seen you since the opening.
I haven't been on this desk all day. I mean, it feels great to be
last
back here.
Last time you were off the show for the whole desk. I mean,
I don't think I've ever been off the desk.
I missed you.
Thank you, Ian. I missed you too. I reciprocate love.
The playoff weekend here, we'll take a look at the upcoming games for the Colonials. Friday, like we said, women's hockey, it says to be determined, but that is Lindenwood at 4 p.m. Women's indoor track and field, the ECAC championships are also taking place. Sean, what we got Saturday?
Women's lacrosse and Detroit. And then men's basketball takes on #1 seed Mount St. Mary's in a game that I'm definitely going to watch to see how well Rob Morris can fare against this high-powered offense. Sunday, Ian?
Another game that I will be, I'll probably be at that game against women's basketball against Fairleigh Dickinson, the NEC quarterfinals, 1 p.m. And men's lacrosse finishes the weekend Sunday against High Point at a 4 p.m. game start. Rashad, we covered all the playoffs. I'm really looking forward to. Now, what was one game that you will have your eyes glued to the screen to hold together?
Definitely the men's basketball in Mount St. Mary's game, because this is a team that proved to be trouble for Rob Morris throughout the year. Junior Robinson, their leading scorer, averages 23 points and 51% shooting from the field. He plays his best games against Rob Morris, so it'll be interesting to see how well he can do.
That is all the time we have on Colonial Sports Center. Come back in 2 weeks.